What's up, basement dwellers? Welcome to another Jersey Phanatics here on Basement Protocol Productions. I'm your host, Chris, the Dace Man Dace, and joining me as always, Eric Berezzo.
Did the Hall of Fame get announced yet?
Maybe. If you're hearing this after another Phanatics Phocus about Jimmy Rollins, then no, it did not. If you're hearing it after the Hall of Fame was announced, it did. And ignore the fact that we're in the same attire. It's cool. It's what you do when you start canon episodes, and it's perfectly fine because these guys are not active players. There's not like they're going to be putting some stats up all of a sudden, and that's one of the guys we're talking about today is Cole Hamels. Even though if someone's going to Brett Favre in the fucking Major League Baseball, I put money on Cole. And by that I mean stealing money from a college.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you meant the dick pics.
Oh, and there's... Oh, God, you know he does. And I mean, like, professional photography. Mr. Hollywood out there probably puts it in costumes, little top hat. And if you haven't caught on, we're talking about Hollywood himself, Cole Hamels, in this week's Phanatics Phocus.
Oh, one of the best pitchers in Phillies history.
Yeah.
Sending dick pics.
And the prettiest. He's a beautiful man. God, if John Kruk was doing commentating during the whole Hamels thing, you'd probably think John Kruk was gay.
Let's just put the legal note out that has never happened. I never send a dick pic.
Oh, yeah, that's what Snapchat's for, man. I haven't put a top hat on it like Cole Hamels, but, you know, who hasn't? People request them sometimes. You gotta do it with consent, especially after Me Too, Cole Hamels did not get Me Too, so there was really no transition there to say that, hey, this is what happened. Cole Hamels. We're talking him. He's from San Diego, California. Hollywood himself, and he was drafted 17th overall in the 2002 MLB draft. He began playing the Phillies minor league system. His win-loss record for his career is 163 wins, 122 losses. He earned run average is 343, which is phenomenal in this day and age. With 2,560 strikeouts. First things first, as we do with most of these guys, he's a four-time All-Star, 2007, 2011, 2012, and 2016. A World Series champion and MVP in 2008. NLCS MVP in 2008. Pitched his first career no-hitter on July 25th, 2015 in front of Aaron Nola and then left.
Then he got traded. That was his goodbye.
Yeah, that was his goodbye in Chicago, where he would come and hang out with Chicago some years later and remind them of what they did. Also would come back to Philadelphia to retire a Philly and remind Kyle Schwarber what he did to Kyle Schwarber that day. And he also pitched a combined no-hitter on September 1st, 2014, while he was with the Phillies. So he has a good career. First things first, is the man a Hall of Famer? We're not going to know for another year or two before he hits the ballot, but...
I don't think so.
That's fair.
That's flat out. He has good numbers. They're not great numbers. He only has like a couple of years that he was under 3 for ERA. So it wasn't really many years that he was the best pitcher out there. But we also didn't really have much offense whenever he pitched. He was kind of like what
Wheeler
Nola is. And Wheeler,
yeah.
Both of them, really. Like that when they come in, you know that you're going to get 6, 7, 8 innings out of them, but we're only going to score one run, if that, and you have to do the rest on your own. So if you give up a meatball down the plate, sucks to be you, dude, because you just lost.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was he was a really damn good pitcher, just not great.
So he had a 14-year career in the majors, which I think is crazy when it comes to pitchers. I don't think you're going to see too many pitchers after like Verlander, Evaldi, and Scherzer retire, giving you double-digit seasons.
Yeah, no.
Especially with this fucking trend of I got to throw over 100, and I'll take 2 Tommy John surgeries to do it.
I was just going to say that, like, every pitcher is coming out and they're trying to throw 100 miles an hour, and every manager is trying to get their pitchers to throw 100 miles an hour. So it's completely different. Like, even in today's society of my son only being 9, the the coaches that we've tried out for have asked how far or how hard can he throw, and it's like he's 9 years old, but they want him to already throw 70 miles an hour. And to me, that's insane. And there's only like a certain few of kids that are that age, but they're going to be done by high school. It's just insane what they're demanding of these pitchers today. And it's just, you're not going to get what Cole Hamels gave you. And that was the consistency.
And that's kind of when we talked about him on a previous focus, is why I like Zach. Zach is a consistent mid 90s. Same with Nola. I don't like Nola because Nola, he's got a 5 head and he has a roller coaster career. So if we do a Phanatics Phocus on Aaron Nola, it'll probably be hosted by somebody else. Same with Schwarber. But I do think Cole is of a dying breed of skill over strength. And it's a shame because I really enjoyed the Fantastic Four era of him, Halliday, Lee, and Oswalt. And none of them were like hard throwers.
No,
they were skilled
Halliday
throwers.
was when in his prime, but
but hard back then was like what, high 90s.
Yeah, 95 or 96.
Yeah, now you got to hit 105. Like adding 10 miles per hour to your pitch and shaving off about 10 years from your fucking career. That's awful. Hamels officially retired in 2023. He had attempted to come back twice. He ran with the Phillies from 2006 to 2015, and those were some of the, those were his highlights. There was only 1 year after that he was named an All-Star, and that's when he played with the Texas Rangers, so he was an American League All-Star at that point. To your point, he was consistent. He was, we joked that he's Mr. Hollywood, but he was one of the core 5 you've referenced in our previous episodes, so we got one guy left after him to do.
I don't remember those Texas years. Like, I'm looking at his stats, and they were really damn good when he was playing for Texas.
Yeah, he was there from half of 15 to 2018.
Yeah, so I don't remember them at all, and that's probably just because our team sucked so much that I had zero interest in watching baseball.
It was the dark era, man.
Yeah.
And now you're also in the American League, so it's a little bit tougher to track you because you're not playing the National League teams. Yeah. Especially, this was a day and age when not every team had to play everybody.
My wife absolutely loved them. Like Christmas would come around, and that would be the Christmas present that she wanted. She wanted a Cole Hamels jersey. She wanted. I ended up getting her like a painting that was of his face and everything, of all little tiny like events or something, whatever it was. But I ended up doing that. Like, she absolutely loved them. Loved every second of them.
There was a time during that 08 to, we'll say, 12 run where they had these specific jerseys by Majestic, who I miss you terribly, if Majestic is still a company. But the batting practice jerseys. I have a Hamels one and an Utley one, which is not your typical button-up. It's just like 2 buttons, so Nick Castellanos had a fucking field day with it.
Yeah.
And I loved his. I probably wore those 2 to the point where, like, I can't display them proudly. Because he was a key player. He's one of the core 5, like you said. He was apparent, like, carried them in the postseason the year they won the World Series. If you're going to be the MVP of both the World Series and the NLCS, you're doing something right.
Yeah, and if he was even 3/4 of the pitcher that he was in 2008, they win in 2009 easily.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It's so weird that you could say, like, he carried the team, or like he was the workhorse of the team in 2008, and then in 2009 you can kind of go, that fucker cost us it, which is weird to go from night and day. And that's kind of where he got the Hollywood name afterwards, of, like, in a condescending tone.
Yeah, and that was like when people were like, trade him, get rid of him, we don't care, we want him gone. They were sick and tired of, he was going out there and he was only doing the Taiwan Walker, giving up 4 or 5 home runs or 4 or 5 runs almost a game, and you saw nothing of him that year, and everyone was sick and tired of it.
So he was drafted in 2002, 17th overall, like we had said. He began his professional baseball career in 2003, pitching for the Class A Lakewood Blue Claws. That season, he was promoted to the Clearwater Threshers, and he finished that year by winning the Paul Owens Award, which is given to the best pitcher in the Phillies minor league system. During the next 2 seasons, Hamels suffered a couple injuries and pitched sparingly. He missed most of the 2004 season with elbow tendonitis, making only 4 starts. In 2005, he broke his pitching hand in a bar fight. Douchebag. And after rehab, he was assigned to Clearwater. In July, Phillies promoted him to the Reading Phillies.
He didn't win that bar fight.
Oh, absolutely not. Because his face is still pretty. It's beautiful. He won because he dodged the fists. He was, once he got up to the Reading Phillies, he was shut down for the remainder of the season with back spasms. In 2006, Hamels started healthy in Clearwater. After a brief stint in Reading, he was promoted to the Scranton Wilkesboro Red Barons. In 3 games at Scranton, he struck out 36 batters, giving up 1 walk, 1 run. His minor league statistics include a record of 14-4 with an ERA of 1.43, 273 strikeouts, and 35 games pitched. For this performance, the Phillies promoted him to the Major League Club in 2006. So he was called up in May. Made his Major League debut May 12th. He pitched 5 scoreless innings, allowed 1 hit, and struck out 7 batters and walked 5 while earning a no decision against the Cincinnati Reds. Got Phillied.
Yep.
The second start, he was dominant until the 7th inning, during which he was pulled after he allowed several base runners. But again, got a no decision. Hello, Philly. A shoulder injury scratched Hamels from the lineup, of which would have been his 3rd Major League start, put on the 15 DL list, and returned June 6th to earn his first Major League victory of a 10-1 win over Arizona. So he finished his rookie seasons with a 9-8 record, 4.08 in an ERA, 145 strikeouts, which was 3rd among NL rookies, and 132 and a third innings pitched.
Fuck you, Arizona.
Just want to throw this 132 in the 3rd innings. He was on the injured list. It was his rookie year. Still more innings than Chris Sale in a Cy Young year. Chris Sale can go get fucked.
Yep.
Just saying. And that's aggravating.
Oh, yeah. Fucking absolutely. And, just going 9-8 in your first year is pretty damn good, too. And having a 4.08 ERA.
Oh, yeah. That's Cy Young, according to this year.
Yeah.
Good season overall. Anyway, 2007, he entered the season having done significant work in the weight room, allegedly. He pitched his first Major League complete game on April 21st, 2007, allowing 1 run on 5 hits and 2 walks while setting a career-high 15 strikeouts. Just 3 days before, the Phillies moved their opening day starter, Brett Myers, to the bullpen to be the closer, making Hamels the team's #1 starter. Ooh. May 16th, he carried a perfect game into 7 innings, but then walked the leadoff hitter and surrendered a home run to J.J. Hardy.
Man, I wish we had Brett Myers on the podcast right now just to see how he felt about that.
I would talk to his music career. Like, you sing now, huh, bud? How's that going for you? We're going to do a Phanatic episode about him. Just like, you could talk about all the baseball stuff and be like, I like you're on MMR. You're on MMR. I hear you. I've heard you. He was selected as a member of the NL All-Star team, Cole Hamels, and has been the Phillies' only consistent starter at that point. Ultimately, the Phillies would go to the playoffs that year. He surrendered 3 runs, 3 hits, and an uncharacteristic 4 walks while striking out 6 2/3 in that National League Division Series he pitched. Hamels finished the regular season 15-5, 3.39 ERA, 177 strikeouts, 183 and a third inning, Chris Sale. And was considered the Steve Carlton Most Valuable Pitcher Award by the Baseball Writers Association of America.
I think there was I think he was in the Cy Young running too. I don't know if it was that year or if it was 2011. One of those 2 years.
2011 should have just been the entire Phillies team.
Yeah.
So 2008, before the season began, the big season for Cole that he would end up having, Hamels made a complaint about the Phillies underpaying him.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Hollywood!
Yeah.
The Phillies paid him $500,000, which was barely the minimum salary for MLB players, despite Hamels' strong performance in 2007. Though Hamels was the, quote, clear-cut ace, Charlie penciled in Brett Myers as the Phillies' opening day starter because Myers accepted his role as the closer in the preceding season and put the team ahead of his personal wishes to start. So the team enters this year telling what would be ultimately the postseason MVP to go fuck himself.
Oh.
What are your thoughts here? Like, the Phillies organization is clearly fucking with their ace. And it wouldn't stop there, because when they brought in the Fantastic Four, you know who was four.
Oh, yeah. It's insane. Like, what he did in 2007 and then what he would do in 2008. Just to be able to, yeah, dude, we're only going to pay you this much. Like, sucks to be you. You signed this contract. Like, you're beat.
Yeah. Hamels went 14-10 with a 3.09 ERA with 196 strikeouts, 227 in a third inning. Chris Sale. It's gonna be my thing this episode. And he had the lowest on-base percentage in the majors at 272. And apparently Fangraphs rated his changeup that year as the most effective in the majors.
Yeah, his changeup was outstanding.
He would go on to be the NLCS MVP, the World Series MVP. In the NLCS, he went 2-0 with an ERA of 193. In the World Series, he went a no decision because of the... Wait, hold on.
Was that the rain game?
That was the rain game. They won the first game he pitched 3-2, which earned Cole his fourth win of the postseason. He started Game 5, which was suspended in the sixth inning, tied at 2-2, giving him the no decision.
Yeah.
And finished the World Series finished the postseason going 4-0 with a 1.80 ERA, throwing a total of 35 innings. Chris Sale, to your 0 this year during the postseason.
How many innings?
35 innings during the postseason, and held opponents scoreless in 28 of them.
Jesus Christ.
He never allowed more than one run in any of the 7 innings in which he did not hold opponents scoreless. Chris Sale.
Like, just to be able to say how many innings he pitched in that year is just...
Chris Sale.
Yeah. It's insane. Because even... What did Wheeler go this year?
200.
So he was at 230 and then
3 games over Wheeler.
Yeah.
Well, at that rate, because, in this day and age, starter pitchers average only 5 innings. That's 5 games over Wheeler.
It's absolutely insane.
And about 20 games over Chris Sale. Chris Sale.
Games over Walker.
But not a food truck. Walker's got him in the food truck department. Pass out those tacos, man. He could be a really nice guy, but you'll never... This is not the... This should be just the anti-Taiwan Walker podcast.
Oh, dude. He's kind of... Like, I know you don't like basketball, but when Ben Simmons would come out in the offseason and he would show how good of a basketball player he was, hitting the jumpers and hitting the free throws, like, it was like,
and then
you can't wait for the year to start. And
then he rolled up in the postseason with a food truck?
Yep.
Yeah.
Taiwan Walker is doing the same exact shit. The last 2 years now, I've seen him on Instagram and Twitter putting out these videos of him working hard in the gym.
Why do you follow him?
Oh, my God.
This is Cole Hamels. This is Cole Hamels' podcast, but why the fuck you following Taiwan Walker? Do you follow Cole?
I don't think so.
I do on Snapchat. How do you think I know there's a top hat on his dick? Anyway, 2009, he started the season by signing a 3-year, $20.5 million contract with the Phillies. So, boom, bro got paid after getting $500,000 the year to win MVP twice in the postseason. On February 14th, happy Valentine's Day, the first day of spring training for pitchers and catchers, when asked who the opening day starter would be, Charlie responded with, Yeah, you might as well go and pencil him in. I don't think there's any sense in me playing games. Go ahead, pencil him in. I think we need a deep dive podcast on why Charlie Manuel fucking hated Cole Hamels before
Because
Cole Hamels became Cole Hamels.
because of that damn attitude, man. He wasn't Brett Myers. He didn't beat his wife.
The funny thing is, Hamels didn't pitch opening day. He left spring training with a case of sand in the vagina. No, he had tightness in his elbow after leaving a spring training game March 16th. Brett Myers opened up for the 2009 season, so that's cool. He finished the year with a 10-11 record with a 4.32 ERA in the regular season. His first major league season in which he posted a sub-500 record and the worst ERA of his career to that point. Hamels started Game 2 of the National League Division Series against the Colorado Rockies. I'm going to assume Cliff started Game 1.
Yeah.
Because that year, in July, the Phillies augmented their starting rotation by acquiring Cliff Lee and Pedro Martinez. Go ahead, you're now third, Cole. Fourth.
Yeah.
Brett's probably third.
Brett was probably suspended.
Yeah, he was recording an album. They just marked it as a suspension. Later in the series, after the game, hold on, where I've lost my spot. All right, so Hamels started the second game of the 2009 NLDS against the Rockies, allowing 4 earned runs through 5 innings to take the loss. However, the Phillies did go on to win that series. I'm sure both of us were not happy at Cole's performance because that's the only game they lost in that series. He earned the win in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series, where the Phillies beat the Dodgers 8-6. He also started the Game 3 of World Series against the New York Yankees, only pitching 4 1/3 innings, allowing 5 earned runs and taking the loss as the Yankees won that game 8-5. Afterward, he told reporters, quote, "I can't wait for this season to end. It's been mentally draining. It's one of those things where a year in, you just can't wait for a fresh start." Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe I actually remember that. Because you're like, wow, this is a great way to go into the freaking, oh my God.
Doesn't end there. Later in the series, after the Phillies won Game 5, a confrontational Brett Myers mockingly asked Hamels, "What are you doing here? I thought you quit."
Jesus Christ.
Years later in 2018, Hamels joked that the Yankees fans loved him due to the fact he helped them win the World Series.
Oh.
We should probably not be doing this episode, huh?
No, it's not coming all great for him.
And that's where he got the condescending Hollywood accent or Hollywood nickname. Because, God, he was a superhero in 2008. It's watching your superhero fall, and it's a damn shame that happened. Because in 2008, he led us to the Holy Land. In 2009, he went, shutting the gates, get out.
Yep.
I have a face for the Yankees.
And then completely turned his back on the city, apparently.
3 years in, he got paid, and now you start to think, yeah, he probably only deserved $500,000. You dickhead.
Yeah.
So Phillies pitching coach Rich Doobie and Hamels himself blamed Hamels' demeanor for some of the decline, noting he is such a perfectionist. His approach wasn't very good in 2009. His success won't come back until his demeanor changes. The more angry you get, it's much tougher to execute your pitch. He's like Matt Strahm, but not in a fun way. Like when Matt Strahm gets pitched, he's going to kill a man if you are in his strike zone.
Yeah, 100%.
And he shut Ohtani down. Suck it, Ohtani. In 2010, the Phillies traded away Cliff Lee, but acquired Roy Halladay. They didn't re-sign Myers, which is funny. I would have, just because him versus Hamels sounds like a great fucking podcast. And Halladay was named the opening day starter. So Cole, not getting the nod again. He threw 6 1/3 innings of no-hit baseball on June 7th, winning 5 consecutive starts, including 3 consecutive scoreless starts from late August to mid-September. And he ended up finishing that year with a 12-11 record, 3.06 ERA, and at that point was his career best. He also struck out a career high of 211 batters. Throughout the season, he was plagued by the Zach Wheeler lack of run support, which probably is the Cole Hamels lack of run support if you start tracing it back.
Yeah, for sure.
And unfortunately, they went to the postseason, but they were eliminated in the divisional series, the divisional championship series.
Yeah.
Right. 2011, year that Cole probably loved and simultaneously hated. The Phillies signed Cliff Lee as a free agent to a 5-year, $120 million contract with a 6-year vetting option, and apparently a black hole contract where when he was done, he just disappeared from the face of the earth. After signing this, the Phillies' starting rotation consisted of Roy Halladay, Roy Oswalt, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, and Joe Blanton. The rotation was considered the best in pitching history by many, and the 4 of them were considered the Fantastic Four, with Cole as the 4th starter. Once again, did not get the opening day nod.
I was going to say, so he was never the opening day starter?
Oh, I bet it came in like 2013. When Cliff fell into a fucking black hole, Doc said, "I'm done," and I think Roy was back in Houston at that point.
Yeah.
Hamels entered the 2011 season with a large amount of excitement and, quote, hype from fans and the media. By the All-Star game, Hamels was 4-3. He was selected to the All-Star game. He was nominated to the team with fellow pitchers Roy, Cliff, and then position players Placido Polanco and Shane Victorino. He wasn't eligible to play, however, because he pitched on the Sunday prior to the All-Star game. The Phillies finished with the best record in MLB in that tragic year that was repeated this year. He finished the year with a 14-9 record, 194 strikeouts, an ERA of 2.79, a WHIP of .986, and finished 5th in the Cy Young voting behind Clayton Kershaw, Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, and Ian Kennedy, respectively. So
I was just about to say that.
I was going to say 3 Phillies in that fucking Cy Young report, Chris Sale.
Craig Kimbrell was 9th on that list.
The Crane. Before we hated him. Well, we hated him. I don't think we ever liked him. We liked him for like half a season.
When he had long hair.
When he had long hair and the Crane was on our side.
Yeah.
During the 2011 offseason, Hamels underwent elbow and hernia surgeries. He missed his scheduled starts in August due to that stiff shoulder in 2011. So he did all this so he was ready to start pitching in 2012. On January 17th, Hamels and the Phillies agreed to a 1-year, $15 million contract to avoid arbitration. This is the highest salary ever paid to a pitcher eligible for arbitration before free agency. On May 6th, an infamous moment in Philadelphia Phillies history in 2012. Hamels was suspended for 5 games after hitting Bryce Harper in the lower back with a pitch. After admitting it was intentional. Could have got away with it, but that smug motherfucker went, yep.
Yeah.
Didn't like the look of him.
On purpose.
The guy didn't have that Philly cut, if you know what I mean.
Oh, wow. I totally forgot. That was his rookie year, too. Bryce Harper's rookie year.
And now Bryce Harper's the franchise. So he got the start opening day, Cole. Anyway, that same year, he hit his first career home run on July 21st against San Francisco Giants pitcher Matt Cain. Hamels would stay a Philly when he agreed to contract extension on July 24th with a 6-year, $144 million contract, which was the second largest contract ever signed by a pitcher. Ruben gave 0 fucks at this point.
And what year was that he gave him a 6-year?
2012, so we should have had him until 2016.
Oh, my God.
He finished the season with 17 wins, which is a career high, 216 strikeouts, which also was career high. He finished 8th in the Cy Young voting. His ERA was 3.05, his second best in the career. And again, he won that Steve Carlton Award from Philadelphia. Charlie Manuel finally gave the nod to Cole Hamels in 2013 to be the opening day starter. 7 years after you debut.
And Brett Myers was the one that got it the whole entire time until Cliff Lee and Roy Halladay got here.
Yeah. But to Cole Hamels' surprise, Brett Myers was signed on a 2-week deal to allow him to pitch opening day. No, I'm just fucking with you. His first career opening day start on April Fool's Day. That would be fucking perfect. It was April Fool's Day that he had his first career opening day start. Like, look, Cole, we know we penciled you in. We're going to have to scratch you. Brett's back. Wasn't a great opening day start. He surrendered 5 earned runs in 5 innings and took the loss. Probably should have signed Brett.
Yeah, I was going to say, see, they knew starting Brett was the right decision.
2013, he amassed an 8-14 record after signing that 6-year mega fucking deal. With a 3.60 ERA and 220 innings, Chris Sale, and 202 strikeouts, which was 6th in the NL. Despite his struggles from his teammates, they said that he was noted that by one of the reporters, Bill Bear. Hamels was worse at generating swings and misses. His strikeout rate had declined by 2.6%, and his overall swinging strike rate had declined by 2.1%. Despite Hamels' poor record in ERA, 25 of his 33 starts were considered quality starts and gave him a chance. It gave his team a chance to win 25 times, yet only getting 8 wins. Man, he is the original Zach Wheeler.
That's not great.
Not great at all. So because of his excellent opening day start in 2013, Hamels announced he would not be ready to pitch for opening day due to tendonitis in his bicep. This man only started one fucking opening day in his fucking 10-year career here. Oh, my God.
Not great.
Not great at all. Like, we got hosed. I don't know why we're doing a Cole Hamels Phanatic Phocus. This guy sucked.
I mean, the years that mattered.
2008, the year that mattered.
Yeah. Well, 2007 and 2008. Those 2 years were perfect.
He finished 6th overall in the Cy Young voting in 2014. He was frequently mentioned as a candidate to be traded in the offseason to help the Ruben Amaro fucked farm system.
Yeah, to try and get something back.
Yeah. I don't have stats for him in 2014. So
he was 9-9. 30 games started.
That was his first combined no-hitter against the Braves in September.
Yeah.
That was his 2014 season. They didn't even fucking care. In 2015, there was a lot of off-season talk that he would be traded. Apparently, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the Rangers, the Cubs, the Yankees, and the Giants expressed interest in trading for him. It doesn't even say if he was. They really just gave zero fucks about Cole in his last 2 years in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it was bleak.
But it's the year he threw his no-hitter.
Yeah.
He no-hit the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field, winning 5-0. Herrera was the shaky fucking outfielder that caught that last pitch.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He was the worst outfielder that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Defensively wise.
He struck out 13, only giving up 2 walks, both Dexter Fowler, and besting the Cubs' Jake Arrieta himself. A no-hit pitcher a month later was Jake Arrieta on August 30th. It was the first no-hitter against the Cubs since Sandy Koufax's perfect game in '65, and the first at Wrigley Field since the Cubs' Pop Milt in 1972. Hamels also joined Vita Blue, Mike Witt, Kent Merker, and Kevin Millwood as no-hit pitchers who also pitched in a combined no-hitter. 6 days later, he was traded to the Texas Rangers, along with Jake Diekman, in exchange for Matt Harrison, Nick Williams, Jorge Alfaro, Jake Thompson, Alec Asher, and Jared Eckhoff. People who did not contribute anything to this fucking team.
Hey, Jorge Alfaro got us JG Realmuto.
Oh, okay. So, thank you, Jorge. He became the first pitcher to be traded during a regular season after pitching a no-hitter, with making the whole league go, huh? And the final start with the team that traded him. The last one was Bert. I can't say his last name, but he did it for the Pirates. With the Rangers, Hamels went 7-1. Looked like a fucking all-star. 12 starts with a 3.66 ERA. The Rangers were under 500 as late as August 3rd, but posted a winning record for the remainder of 2015 season and eventually overtook the Houston Astros in September for the American League West Division.
All of a sudden he figured out how to pitch again.
Yeah, by not being in Philly.
Yeah.
The Rangers lost to the Blue Jays in 5 games in the divisional series after squandering a 2-0 series lead. Hamels received a no decision in Game 2, and he left the game tied, but the Rangers won in 14 innings. Hamels started Game 5 and was pulled in the bottom of the 7th inning while the Rangers were leading 3-2 after Rangers infielder allowed the first 3 Jays batters to reach base on 3 consecutive errors. Probably felt like he was in Philly. The Jays subsequently scored 4 runs to win 6-3, and Hamels was charged with the loss as he was responsible for the runners on base. That sucks. Hamels, for the second time in his career, was named the opening day starter for the Texas Rangers. He would go on to finish the 2016 season with a 15-5 record with a 3.32 ERA and 32 starts. He led major league pitchers in percent on balls pulled against him, 47%. So Hamels was, I don't. Why did he retire at Philly? He clearly did not like being here. The organization clearly didn't want him here.
No, it was. I think it had more to do with the fans too. Like the fans were nonstop riding him every single year.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how good or bad he did, it was always the same thing. The Hollywood attitude. Jimmy Rollins was from California too, but he was just Cole Hamels was Mr. Priss.
It's a damn shame because if you think about it, if they had repeated in 2009, there'd be a statue of Cole Hamels in front of the stadium. Guaranteed.
Oh, absolutely.
He was a superhero in 2008, and if he got his shit together in 2009, he'd have been a superhero again.
Yeah, for sure.
Because his back half, when he left Philly, he started doing well. In 2017, he had 24 starts, and he compiled an 11-6 record with a 4.20 ERA. He also looked like he was partaking in 4.20 when it came to 2017 because he grew out a beard and let the hair go nuts. He started that season on the 15-day disabled list due to a strained right oblique. This guy also seems like he was also played with injuries almost every fucking year.
Yeah,
even before he got to the majors.
Yeah.
2018, he opened the season as the Rangers ace. In 20 starts, Hamels went 5-9 with a 4.72 ERA in 114 and a third innings, Chris Sale.
But it was always those weird injuries like the oblique and the back spasms and tendonitis. Like it wasn't Tommy John surgery. And
yeah, he was a bitch.
Yeah.
Everyday Americans do their job with these injuries. On July 27th of that year, he was traded to Chicago in exchange for Eddie Butler, Rolly Lace, and Alexander Ovales. He made his first appearance as a Cub on August 1st, striking out 9. He gave up 1 unearned run and 3 hits in 5 innings, earning the win. For the 2018 season between 2 teams, he was 9-12 with a 3.78 ERA and led the major leagues in hit batters with 19. He also led the majors in giving up the highest percentage of hard hit balls. Hamels pitched in relief in the Cubs' 2018 wildcard loss to the Colorado Rockies. He allowed 2 hits and a walk over 2 scoreless innings.
For the he likes to lose to the Rockies, huh?
Yeah, especially on a Cubs team that they had just won the World Series 2 years before that, right?
I think so, yeah.
Man was jumping to teams that would eventually have success as soon as he leaves. For the 2019 season, he was 7-7 with a 3.81 ERA in 147.2 innings, Chris Sale, over 27 starts. And then heartbreaking news, in 2019, December 4th, he signed a 1-year deal, $18 million with the Braves.
Mm.
Can't do that. Granted, there was a lot of talk about him potentially coming back here that year.
There was a lot of talk about that, of him just coming back in general,
Mm-hmm.
just pitching anywhere. But it was definitely coming back here because we needed somebody.
Yeah, at that point, we only had Zach and Nola.
Yeah,
Like Ranger wasn't really. Actually, did we
yeah,
even have? We didn't have Zach in 2019. We just had Nola and Eflin. I guess Eflin would be considered a number two. We didn't have what we have now for sure. Um, yeah, he during spring training he suffered a shoulder injury and was not expected to start in the 2020 season. Then the pandemic happened. So in 2020, he only made one start, pitching 3 innings and giving up 3 earned runs against the Orioles on September 16th. Uh, on August 4th, 2021, Hamels was signed by the Dodgers for $1 million through the remainder of the 2021 season. Uh, he experienced arm pain while throwing in a simulated game in Arizona and was placed on the 60-day injured list, ending the comeback attempt. He tried again with the Padres. So Hamels underwent 3 different surgeries to try to prepare for another comeback attempt. On February 16th, 2023, Hamels signed a minor league contract with the Padres. He had originally intended to make starts with the Padres AAA team as part of his recovery. However, he experienced inflammation in the shoulder while working out with the team and was unable to continue the comeback attempt. He officially retired August 4th, 2023. And on June 21st, 2024, a game I was at, they held a ceremony for Hamels where he was officially retired as part of the team. And the team would go on to fucking have Taijuan Walker give up a shit ton of runs and suck that day. So full circle. Phillies outfielder David Dahl changed his number from 35 to 31 out of respect for Hamels, who had known Dahl during his stint with the Padres. So his number hasn't been officially retired, but Dahl did him a solid. Walker did not. Cole Hamels, in a nutshell. Meh player. I can see why you said he wasn't going to go into the Hall of Fame.
yeah. There was a lot of games that were, worthy. Like there was a couple years that he was close up there in the Cy Young. Um, he was, in today's world, he's probably your 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a high 3, low 4. Like that. That's just where he is. But there was a lot of years that he was, top 5 Cy Young, and he had the wins and losses where you needed him to be. But I don't remember. Like I totally forgot about all his attitude issues, but still to be able to potentially try and still pitch for 17 years, that's outrageous. I know he didn't get those other 3 years, but still coming out there at that age, 40 years old, to come out and try and be that Jamie Moyer and get to that level of the major leagues is pretty damn impressive. But it was, without him, 2008 doesn't happen.
You're right. He was the superhero of 2008. We had talked about it earlier in this episode that if 2009 had gone a different way, he would be an icon
Yeah.
in Philadelphia. Now it's like, yeah, because I feel like that star will dim a little bit if this current team can get a World Series. Because you look fondly back at 2008 because in our lifetime, that's the only World Series win they had. And you know that Cole was Cole in the NLCS and the World Series. So like he gets a lot of lift from that victory, which
Yeah,
I
because
think. Go ahead.
as of right now, you kind of have that negative taste in your mouth because of 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Just from that alone, like, everyone forgets about him going back and forth with Brett Myers and saying, like, I'm
Yeah.
tired, I don't want to be here anymore, and all that other shit. You forget all about all that. The only thing you remember is that he was a shell of himself in the World Series in 09.
Mm-hmm. So I think that like he's probably up there in all-time pitchers for the Phillies right now. But if this current team makes the run that they're supposed to make, because they've got Nola and Wheeler on the hook for another 3 years combined. I mean, you get Nola for a little bit longer than that. You got Sanchez that they're putting a lot of faith in. Suarez is kind of there. Taiwan will keep the hate flowing, so it'll never be that low. But if they go on a run and they win this, I think he gets bumped from an all-time Phillies pitcher perspective.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're gonna look at like, oh yeah, he had the 08 thing, but like, okay, there was a lot of good players on that team, and you're gonna look at a guy like Zach, who's just been fucking stone cold, cut and dry. I'm winning. Like, I'm gonna go out there and do what I gotta do. None of this bitchy boy band stuff.
And ever since he got here, like he's been going out there for one purpose only, and that's to go 9 innings every single time. That's what he wants to do. It doesn't happen, but that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think what Cole could do during this run is if he's more involved with Philly, which I doubt he will be, because I think he lives in Texas or something like that.
Well, he has all that. I think he still has that foundation here too. Well, the Hamels Foundation, I believe, still exists over here.
There's a note that he resigned from that in 2021.
Oh, okay.
And it was renamed into the Uplift Malawi, which continued on the Hamels Foundation's pretty much mission statement, but he just kind of got out of it. He also was divorced this year.
No shit.
And he's dating Rebecca Graff, who's an actress.
No clue who that is.
Yeah, I have no idea. He's doing a lot of workout in Southwest Missouri now. It's a terrible fucking place. So I don't know. I don't know if he actually.
They're doing a lot of workout in Missouri. What the fuck is he doing?
So apparently in 2017, him and I guess his ex-wife Strobel donated their Missouri mansion.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
To a Christian charity that runs camps for children with special needs and chronic illness. That's cool.
The house was ginormous. Oh wow, I forgot about that too.
But he's divorced. They live with their children in Newtown Square, a home they built in 2014, but later put up for sale in 2021. They owned a home in South Lake, Texas. They family built a home in Missouri. I think that's the one they donated. But he currently lives in Texas. And he's working there. Oh no, they donated that to another camp for children with special. Where the fuck does this guy live?
Because he can't afford the houses anymore, dude. He's buying them for $20 million, and he's like, oh shit, I can't afford this, so he's just donating them, writing them off.
I honestly, I'd be interested to see what he's up to. He's dating the actress Rebecca Graff. Apparently, Rebecca Graff, she was cast in the CW series Walker, which was a reboot of the Texas Walker Ranger. I assume that didn't make it. She was also on The Young and the Restless. I guess he's just mooching off her. I don't fucking know. But I think he should, honestly, when you look at guys, we talk about this with the other guys when we did Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, Chase Utley. Chase is clearly living the British life, so he's not really in tune with. I think that's his passive way of having to choose between LA and Philly. I'll go work in London.
Yeah,
can't hate me. Ryan has a chicken place in the bank, and lives in Atlanta. Jimmy clearly did commentary, which I was unaware of, and does come back often to Philly. I think Cole needs to do that.
That year and a half, we had almost everybody as commentary.
Mm-hmm.
It was insane how many people did it. I think that was the first year that Mike Schmidt did it on Sundays. Jimmy Rollins was Monday through Friday, and Schmidt was weekends or just Sundays only.
Well, if any of them would like to come back and replace Ben Davis and Ruben Amaro, I would gladly appreciate it, because as much as I love Kruk, I know Krucker's not going to pick up 162 games.
No.
He's pushing it with the 60 or 70 he does. I wouldn't hate. I feel like Cole wouldn't be a good color commentary.
Oh God, no! His voice is awful.
He'd be a good if Tom couldn't do it. I feel like he could be that guy with a Kruk.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's got to engage more with the organization now that he's officially retired. Um, I think the ceremony was really cool. It's one that when he announced that he was retiring as a Philly, I made sure, even though I had a partial season plan, that I was going to fucking be there for it.
I I wanted to do that so bad. I wanted to go to that game so bad, and I totally forgot about it. And then we ended up having like a baseball tournament or some bullshit, whatever it was.
the game itself sucked. I left by the second
Yeah.
inning
Yeah.
because Taiwan pitched, and I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" Couldn't schedule this on a Zach Wheeler day, or like do some magic to put Zach in there, or Aaron.
Yeah.
The
Anybody?
the ceremony itself was pretty cool. His speech was cool. They brought Schwarber and Aaron out to present him with the mound plate
From his
from
home, from the no
Wrigley.
hitter.
Yeah, from the no hitter. And Dan Baker made the note that Kyle was on the team that got no hit,
Yeah.
and he just adds fuel to my fire that he fucking sucks. It was a cool ceremony to watch, and very cool for me at least, because like we've talked in other episodes, I didn't really start following the Phillies till 2007, and Cole came on in 2006. So Cole was kind of my guy in a way,
Yeah.
because he was getting his start as I was getting my start, and Cole was just a name that was synonymous with the Phillies. I clearly didn't pay attention enough to know all this fucking shit was going on.
I mean, you probably did, but that 2014 to 18 blacks out a lot.
Oh, absolutely. But like even the 2009 issues, like I knew that he had like him and I'm not a big football fan, but McNabb, like those appearances where they made it to the big game and then
Yeah.
didn't do well. They always got that stank on them of like, oh, these fucking prima donnas couldn't perform, and I just knew it at that. I didn't know this dumbass went and said that he wanted the season to be over. That was probably in the era when I didn't pay attention to the news, because had I heard that, I would have been on the fucking send him out of here train, especially since Cliff didn't sign back on in 2010.
Everyone was on that train, dude. It was insane. I remember it.
Yeah, like we lost Cliff in 2010, and we're stuck with like had I heard that fucking quote, because Cliff Lee's hands down my favorite pitcher. We'll find him one day in that black hole and do a deep dive. It might not even be a deep dive on his career. It'll be more of a deep dive of where the fuck is he now and why he hasn't returned our calls. But Cole is, like you've said it on several podcasts, part of the core five. It's Cole, Utley, Rollins, Howard, and Chooch. They were there.
The most important pieces to what this team was during that fantastic run.
You can even make there's a sixth guy, Shane. Shane was there for a good chunk of it, all-star a couple times, and really the consistent piece of the outfield.
Yeah, he was definitely, the Flying Hawaiian was definitely a main reason that we were there as well, and the defense and offense were definitely important as well, but it doesn't compete with what the core five were.
A homegrowner. That's what those guys were. Actually, I don't know if Chooch was, but at least the four of them that we've done so far in the Phanatics Phocus were all homegrown.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, during our dark era, we didn't get much of that. And the one guy we did get, he's now playing for the Brewers because we signed a all-star right fielder to play first base.
Hey, we have Aaron Nola still here.
5-head doesn't count. He just does not count. His roller coaster, we'll do one on him eventually. But I won't be here. That's going to do it for us this week on the Phanatics. We hope you enjoyed the Cole Hamels retrospective. I did, because it was eye-opening about how much of a fucking douche he was.
Well, that's where he got his nickname, man. He was.
I thought it was because of his pretty dick, but here I am.
He was all serious majority of the time when he was on the mound, but off the mound, it was a little brutal.
All dick pics. No sustenance. Well, that'll do it. Well, maybe we'll be back next week to talk some more Phanatics Phocus. We don't know. Again, slow free agency. You may have heard this episode consecutively, so it may have been Jimmy Rollins, and then we're talking Cole. If free agency picked up, this obviously would have been pushed. we're playing it on the fly. We're putting some of these in the can to talk more. If you want to hear a specific player and our take on that specific player, especially ones who were here before 2007, because it's like a whole learning experience for me. I would personally vote for Lieberthal, Andrew Knapp, or Bobby Abreu, just to understand why Erik hates these players so much.
Fucking Knapp.
I'm sure we could have fun with Pete Rose. There's a lot there that's not baseball related we could talk about. And then you got colorful characters like Larry Boa and then the boring ass Mike Schmidt. Good player, boring.
And your hero, John Kruk.
John Kruk. That man is going to need a fucking month. Like, we're going to have an episode about him playing, an episode about him just being, like, in the organization but not on camera, an episode of his commentating, and then we'll call him and just talk wrestling.
Yeah.
It's going to be John Kruk month. We find out his birthday, John Kruk month, hands down. We'll stop the whole fucking Major League season to do John Kruk month. That's going to do it for us this week on the Phanatics. I've been Chris. Anything to plug, Eric?
No.
That's fair. Check out everything on basementprotocolproductions.com. We're getting ready to gear up for the Game-a-thon, which is coming at the end of April, 25th to the 27th. The GoFundMe is up. The website is up, so it's basementprotocolproductions.com/DGC11. Schedule's up. Prizes are up. All the stuff's up for that. We also have a show that hits YouTube every week, the Weekly Protocol. I don't know if anything's been filmed.
Let's get some comments and go back and forth on all our channels just to have some conversation.
Right? We're laying down protocols, and you not commenting on those videos means we should stick to these protocols and just do what the fuck we want. And some of them are very controversial. Like in the airport protocol, suggested we took a plane through a building. Happened in 2001, could happen again if you don't go on there and tell me not to do it. These are the type of things you have to keep us in check on. You don't comment on the Jersey Phanatic videos and tell us what Phanatic versions you want to do and all these Phanatics Focuses. We're going to fucking talk about Wilson Valdez. We brought that name up last week. And now
I was at that game.
Well, I'm just saying, that name's fresh in my head now. So there'll be a graphic made for Wilson Valdez, and we'll talk an hour about Wilson Valdez. Nobody wants that.
Listen, I was at the game where he ended up being the winning pitcher for a 22-inning game.
Exactly. The man deserves a Phanatics Focus. Unless somebody says otherwise. Keep fucking with me, and we'll do a Marshawn back injury podcast. We can talk about every time he's had a back injury.
Oh, he signed the contract and got injured.
If you comment on this video of don't do the Marshawn back injury podcast, I know you've stuck with us the whole way, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
If you don't, it'll be out next week. Anyway, that's going to do it for us. Again, Basement Protocol Productions for all your news, and also Facebook.com/Basement Protocol Productions. I've been Chris the Dace Man Dace. He's been Eric Perezzo.
See ya.
Ring that bell. Stick to the protocol. Eric, I need you to ring the bell.
Ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding.
We'll see you next week.